What a great experience we've had. What a great journey for this football team. I want to congratulate Coach Swinney and his outstanding achievements so far that he's done as a coaching career. I think he's a model for other coaches that have been interim coaches, have had success. He's a friend of mine. I have a lot of respect for him. I have a lot of respect for his football team. I want to thank the playoff system for having us here in the championship game. New Orleans has been great. It'll be a great game.
Coach Swinney, when you're ready.
Okay, yes, appreciate all y'all being here this morning, and it's been a wonderful experience for our guys. Super proud of our team, and just appreciative of all the hard work that's gone into making this a great experience for our players. And New Orleans has been great. Looking forward to an awesome game tomorrow. Really amazing season that LSU has had. Coach O and the job that he's done, his staff, just incredible. And this is the way it should be. Two great teams that have worked extremely hard to get to this point, and to be able to have it culminate tomorrow night in front of the whole country, and probably a lot of people across the world to watch a great college football game. It's an awesome thing, a blessing to be a part of.
We'll now start our Q&A portion. Again, raise your hand. Let us get you the mic. Please do give us your name and affiliation. We're going to start first right here on the right side of the...
Jacques Doucet, WAFB-TV in Baton Rouge. Coach Orgeron, your team throughout the year, no matter the quote-unquote big game, there never seems to be any nerves or nervousness. When you go into a game like this, how are you approaching the psychology of, it's easy to say it's another game, but you're in a national championship.
Yeah, we didn't talk about going to play for the national championship. We talked about we have to prepare to beat Clemson, one game at a time, just like we've done. We have trusted the process. Today is Focus Friday. The guys are getting excited. They are getting antsy. I can feel it. I'm getting antsy too. But I think that we have to continue to work up through game time. They're going to make plays. We're going to make plays. We have to work for 60 minutes and focus on winning the game and not worry about all the other stuff. Block out the noise just like we did all year.
Going to come over here to our right.
Andrea Adelson with ESPN.com for Dabo. You've been asked a lot about the last decade of Clemson football. If there was one word you could use to describe it, what would it be and why?
The last decade? Transformative. Is that a word? We've transformed Clemson, and the next decade is the Roaring 20s. So I'm excited. I heard those were great. So hopefully we can relive those.
Come over here on our left side in the middle.
For Dabo, you possibly winning 30 straight games. That's only happened 6 times since the 50s. 3 out of 4 championships only happened 3 times, I think. Back-to-back national championships, undefeated, hasn't happened since Nebraska in the 90s. Do you give any of this information to your team to sort of say, hey, listen, you have a chance to not just be champions, but to be all-time great champions?
Well, I mean, this is 2020. I don't have to give them anything. They just get woken up in the middle of the night with breaking alerts. It's just the information is overloaded into their world, today. So I don't have to give them anything. They see it, they hear it. It's a constant. They know. Certainly, we reinforce from time to time, what their opportunity is. But it's not like we're giving them anything they don't know. They know. They're very well aware of what they've been able to achieve. And listen, regardless of what happens in the game tomorrow night, it's really been a historic run. And to win 2 out of the last 3 national championships is amazing. And I'm just super proud of all of our teams that have worked so hard to just be the best they can be. And that's really our goal. That's it. Sometimes you get beat, and our goal is to be the best we can be every single year. And winning a national championship is a byproduct of that. commitment. And so just thankful for all of our teams, and they're well aware of all the opportunity and all that stuff, but that's really not the focus. I think when you focus on that, you're focusing on the magnitude of the moment, and you lose the joy of the moment. And that's all we try to focus on, is just being great where our feet are, and just have some fun doing what we do to get ready.
Go over here to our right in the middle section, halfway back.
To both of you, similar question, Coach O. You've had a lot of reaction to your accent over the years. I know some of the players have impersonations and things like that. How important is the accent to you and what it represents? And Coach Swinney, I know that you present a certain way publicly. Your players say you're the exact same guy to them. How important is that authenticity to you?
Being Cajun, I'm very proud of being Cajun. My grandparents didn't speak English, and my mother and father spoke Cajun French at the table. And when they wanted to talk about me, they spoke Cajun French, so I learned Cajun French. And so I'm excited to be at LSU, at home, where we're proud of our Cajun heritage. We're proud of Louisiana. I just feel at home here. People that made fun of my accent before, I thank them. That gave me internal motivation to do better. So I thank them to be motivators in my career.
Coach Swinney?
Well, I mean, it's ironic. I obviously grew up in Alabama, and sometimes meet people along the way, and they'd say, where do you get a name like Dabo? And so sometimes I just didn't want to tell. I'd just say, well, I'm Cajun, D-A-B-E-A-U-X, Dabo. And I just, going about my business. So I kind of feel at home here too. But anyway, I just think that you just got to be who you are. Somebody asked me a question yesterday. They said, and they were talking about Coach O and myself about, I guess how we handle ourselves or something. And I just, I don't know how to do I don't know how to be somebody else. All I know how to do is be myself. And if that's not good enough, it's not good enough. So I'm not really trying to be someone else. And I just think you have to just be genuine and be transparent. And if you just speak the truth, you don't have to remember what you say. And you can speak from the heart. And sometimes people don't like that, but at least you know it's the truth to you. So that's all that matters. And just, I think, again, just being genuine in everything that you do. And man, that's what I love about Coach O, and have for a long time, not just since he's been at LSU. I mean, he's one of the most genuine, passionate people that you see in this business. And it resonates, with his players. And so that's why he's been so successful.
Come back over here to our left, right in the middle.
Hey, Dabo, Will Vandervoort with the Clemson Insider. I want to ask you two questions. First, what's the status of Niles Pinckney? And then second, also want to ask you about Brad yesterday, and what were you doing? Were you watching the game, and what did you say to Coach Brownell after their big win yesterday?
Yeah, Niles is we're hopeful, but he's if he plays, he'll be limited. Still battling that ankle. So but Brad, I actually got to see the overtime part. So I didn't see anything up until that, and so I saw the best part. It was awesome. It was amazing. I mean, that's an amazing streak. And then I was with Dan Radakovich shortly after that, and so it was pretty cool. But really just happy for Brad and his whole team. Text Amir Sims right away and text back and forth with him last night. Just super proud of those guys. I mean, to be able to accomplish something that nobody's done. You're talking about 59 years, man. You'd think sooner or later somebody, somewhere along the way you'd win one. But it was pretty amazing. Long time coming, obviously, over 90 years, I guess. So special moment for Coach B and his team and for Clemson.
Stay in the same area, right over here to our left.
Coach, over to your left. Trevor Groves, CUTigers.com. I understand that you had to move practice to the Hilton Ballroom yesterday because of the weather while LSU was in the Palatial Saints indoor facility. Just curious how that affected your preparation, and we have any sort of a walkthrough today.
Yeah, we might have had the best practice we've had all year. And we had the same opportunity to go to the palatial Saints facility. It's not like, it's just crazy how people put these narratives out there right away. We had the same exact opportunity to go there, but we were going to have to change our schedule and just didn't want to do that. And obviously the weather was nasty. So it was great. I mean, it's massive, and it was a Thursday practice for us, and our Thursday practices are kind of jog through anyway, and this was practice 9, day 10 in a row that we've been together, so it was even lighter than that, but it was a lot of fun. It was great energy. Both these teams are ready to play. I mean, you can only practice so much. So it was a great practice. It was a great day, and thankful that we had a really good facility. And again, we could have done the same exact thing. I just chose not to change our schedule up and stay on course, and it's great.
This one's for Coach O, Michael Cobble, WBRZ TV in Baton Rouge. Coach, we've marveled a lot about Joe's preparation and his thoroughness in that preparation. Have you ever been around a college player who really doesn't want to partake in any of the college scene? And has that rubbed off on the guys that have been around him?
I've never been around a player like Joe. And obviously he's very talented and he's a leader, but day in and day out, he's the same guy. Very focusing on a task in hand. It's about execution and winning and being great. And last game, he threw 8 touchdowns and he wasn't satisfied. I mean, that's him. And you go out to practice and I'll ask him, how's it going? I go to pass rush and I'll come to 7-on-7. How's it going, Joe? Rarely does he tell me everything's fine. And the guy's a perfectionist. It does rub off on our football team. He's an outstanding leader.
We're going to go in the back on the television riser.
Coach O, Andrew Clay, KATC in Lafayette. A lot of these kids obviously on your team wanted to play in the Superdome in high school, but even Grant Delpit said a really great story about how he moved away after Katrina. Do you find that the players are taking this game more personally because of the city it's in?
I do believe that. I do believe, obviously, there's a lot of things that you can look at in this game for motivation. And the only motivation that we've used is to finish strong and focus on winning the game. But those external motivations are there. These guys have always wanted to play in the Dome. Grant is from New Orleans. His family was displaced from Katrina. All his family will be there. It will mean more to our guys that we're playing here in New Orleans for the championship, no question.
Come right down here in the front, over on slightly to our right.
This one's for Ed Orgeron, Brooks Cabina from The Advocate. Ed, 2 questions. One, could you update us on where Damian Lewis is at for you guys?
Yep.
And the other, last night at the Eddie Robinson, your mentor Brian Kennedy mentioned him. What kind of moment did y'all have and the things that he might have said to you then?
Yeah, well, Damian's ready to play. Jack Marucci and Tommy Moffitt, those guys, Shelley, everybody down there, they do a tremendous job. I've never been around a training staff that gets guys back so fast. Last night, I accepted an award on behalf of our staff. It was very prestigious. I want to thank the Eddie Robinson family. I think it was really held in a first-class manner. What an honor to meet all those people, to meet his family. Brian Kennedy was a mentor of mine in Los Angeles, California. For 2 years straight, I called him at 6 o'clock every morning, and he answered the phone every morning. And he helped me out in my personal life. So I wanted him to be here yesterday for that event, and he's a lifelong friend.
We're going to go all the way back in the back on our left.
This for both coaches, Dennis Dodd, CBS Sports, for both you guys. How do you define a dynasty in college football, and what's the earliest one that you guys remember?
You got it, Coach.
A dynasty? I guess a team that wins a lot. It's the only thing I can think of. The first one, dynasty. I mean, for me personally, I think about Coach Bryant. I can't help but think about Coach Bryant. I growing up in Alabama, and what he did in the '60s and the '70s winning, numerous national championships, and and there's some debate. Probably could have won some more. I guess back in those days, you just kind of voted on them. I think some of those years you even voted on them before the bowl games. But anyway, certainly Alabama, and then what Coach Saban has done. I guess the definition is just doing something over and over and over, very, very with an unbelievable consistency. Think about John Wooden. I know that's not football, but didn't he win 10 championships in a row? Think about the Bulls. So I don't know about all the football dynasties. I don't think there's been many. It's just so hard to win consistently for a long period of time. Bobby Bowden at Florida State, they had 14 10-plus win seasons in a row. Probably Oklahoma had a run there. They were pretty unstoppable. So it's kind of what pops into my head.
Yeah, those are things for you guys to write about. My mind can't even think about that right now. I have been a football fan, but I'm on Focus Friday, man. That's all I know.
We're going to go back to the riser in the back on our left.
Shakira Martin with News 15 out of Lafayette. Coach O, one could argue and say that your offense hasn't faced a team as dominant that Clemson presents. What part in the past success has made you guys ready for this exact moment of tomorrow?
Well, first of all, Brent Venables, I have a lot of respect for him. You watch their tape. They're in the right place at the right time. He knows how to attack protections. They use that number 11 in great spots. You got to know where he's at all the time. But the teams that we play some pretty good defenses, and our guys have done a good job. Obviously, with our offense, we have seen new defenses that we haven't practiced against sometimes. Sometimes we've seen the same defense. I think this game is going to come down to adjustments made during the game. Obviously, Clemson's had a lot of time to practice. We've had a lot of time to practice. Sometimes people put in something new, sometimes they don't. They may run the same stuff. We watched every play they've run, but they watched every play we run. So we're going to be prepared. But I think when it comes down to coaches making the proper calls, I think what we have an advantage of with this year, more than any other team I've been with, that Joe can execute those plays, and we put playmakers in space and let them play.
Come right down here, the center aisle in the back.
Gene Sapikoff of the Charleston Post and Courier. Dabo, this is the last ride for Tony Elliott and Jeff Scott as co-OCs. What have they meant to you since you were their position coach up until now?
Oh, they're great. I've been at Clemson 17 years, so they've been with me really the whole way. Tony played for me, was a GA for me, or not a GA, but a captain for me. Jeff, when I came to Clemson, it was his senior year. He had just finished, and then so I kind of tutored and mentored him his first few years as he was getting into the business, and then he became a GA. And then when he was a GA, when I was named interim, and so I promoted him right away, and that was just really based on my experience that I had had with him working with me in camps. When I was an assistant, I ran the camps and clinics and coaching stuff, all the whatever went on within the program from a logistics standpoint, and I would use all the GAs and stuff. And Jeff was just always an above and beyond guy, and always knew if I ever got a job that he'd be one of the first guys I hired. So just kind of worked out. So those guys have been with me from day one, and not just them. Brad Scott, Brad was the offensive coordinator when I came to Clemson. I'm not at Clemson if it wasn't for Brad. Obviously, Tommy brought me in to interview me, but Brad had to sign off and as the OC, and I've been with Brad for 17 years, every step of the way. So those guys have been great. But Tony and Jeff, it's been fun to watch them grow and develop. And then back in 2014, when we had an opening, I was able to, just promote the two of them. They both deserved it. And so that's why I made them co-OCs, and they've done an amazing job, obviously, since that time. So I'm excited for Tony to be able to, take it over just himself, and it'll be awesome for him. And also a little more responsibility for Streeter. And then obviously Jeff getting this great opportunity at South Florida. Really happy for him.
We're going to slide over to the other side of the middle column.
Coach Swinney, when you played LSU in the Chick-fil-A Bowl back in 2012, Brent Venables, your defensive coordinator, joked that a trick play for LSU was a play-action pass. Can you talk about just how much LSU has changed offensively since then and take some humor in that?
Yeah, well, if I remember correctly, they threw 2 passes on that last series. So they came out of the gate, first down, completed it, and then they had back-to-back play actions and incomplete on one, and we batted one down. And that gave us a chance because I was able to save timeouts, and that gave us a chance to get the ball back and go win the game. So ironic that you bring that up. But, listen, what I remember about that team is that's as talented a team, especially defensively, that I've ever been around. I think the entire 2 deep and maybe even into the 3 deep went to the NFL. We were very fortunate to win that game. We just made just enough plays. Our best player got hurt the second game. But what they're doing offensively now is obviously way, way, way different. But they were a physical football team, and they still are. But yet now they're distributing the ball to so many different guys. Everybody touches the ball, and it's made them fun. It's made them exciting. You can see they play with great confidence and energy, and then this quarterback is special.
Go back over to the center.
Coach O, I've heard Clemson's answers about the long delay until you play. I was just curious. I hadn't heard your thoughts. Is this the right amount of time for this game? Do you feel the preparation was needed?
For us, we needed the rest, and we give our guys ample rest. We practiced 4 days. We gave them 3 days off, and then we went through a regular game week of planning. So I think it's been good. It seems like right now, everybody's getting a little antsy to play. Those things, sometimes you got to adjust to whatever they tell you to do, so we don't blink. They tell us it's 16 days, 16. Tell us it's 7, it's 7. We just go.
Go down here, right here, very front.
This is for Coach O, Terrell Wild with the Boot Sports. Can you touch on the importance of Michael Divinity's return to the defense and also Miles Brennan's status for the ball game?
Yeah. Mike is going to help us, especially in pass rush situations. Now, there's sometimes a certain situation he could be on the field on first down. It all depends what personnel group that we get, but Mike is a very good player, a very good pass rusher. He brings energy to the football team. I want to give Mike credit for sticking with it. He had to take a couple of games off. He had the opportunity. He could have left and get ready for the NFL. He didn't. He practiced with the team every day. He did the thing he's supposed to, and now he's playing in the championship game. Miles Brennan is fine, ready to go.
Come right down here on our right, third row.
Ed, Wilson Alexander from The Advocate. Christian Fulton rarely gets talked about this season. A lot of the focus gets put on Derek Stingley. Is that in some ways a compliment to the way Christian has played this season?
Yes, I do believe. They watch film, they look at tape, and, but they have great receivers, man. Those receivers are going to be a challenge. Obviously, we feel that Derek is a phenomenal player, so is Christian. And Christian's a great story. Christian's a great story. His family's right here from New Orleans. He competed. He was suspended, could not play. They fought to get the suspension. He came to practice every day. The suspension was let go, and he could play. And what a great story. Now he's playing right there from Romo High School right here in New Orleans. So a great story. Christian, outstanding player.
We're going to go all the way over to our right.
Yeah. Brett Martell with the Associated Press. Ed, could you reflect on Michael Divinity's decision to come back, specifically knowing that he may never play another game for LSU unless you made it this far? And I would also welcome Coach Swinney's comments on a player's decision to do something like that.
Well, first of all, I'm for players playing throughout the year, regardless. It's your team. You play for your football team, one heartbeat. That's my opinion, and my opinion only. And I know there's special circumstances where players feel that they'll opt out to go to the NFL. And again, that's their personal decision. But me personally, I think I'm a team man. Stay with your team. Michael did that. Michael had a chance to go out early last year. He wanted to come back. He wanted to finish his career at LSU. He had a bump in the road. He paid his penalty, and he came back. So it tells you a lot about his character, tells you a lot about his grit and who he is.
I didn't hear the question. What did you say again?
Student athletes bypassing bowl season.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm ditto. I grew up in college football. I've been in college football since 1988, and I know there's a different world, and everybody makes their own decisions. Doesn't mean somebody's right or wrong, but I agree. I think that me personally, I think it's team. You finish.
Back over here in the center.
Coach O, I don't remember when you started the block out the noise mantra, but you've had some personal hurdles and obstacles to overcome in your life. I've heard you reference your faith and Kelly's faith getting you through those. Is that something that you kind of always had about you? Or did the block out the noise mantra even leak into your personal life?
No, I think that, at the beginning of my career, I had to block out the negative noise. And there was a lot of negative noise. I couldn't let it affect me. And there was no way I would. And I knew the team would listen to it and stuff like that, but, it was about blocking out the noise. And then early in my career at LSU, we faced some adversity. Some strong adversity. And it was time to block out the noise. And we can see through that adversity, it made us stronger. And I do believe the loss to Troy was a turning point in our program. It helped us realize what we had to get done, what we had to do as coaching staff, as players. We could never let our hands down. We always have our hands up and ready to prepare for every game. I think that, so now the noise is good. And look, they're going to be on that Twitter machine. I know they will. You can't stop them. You know what I'm saying? But we don't talk about individual awards. We don't talk about anything except the task at hand, and we keep everything team. And I think that helps us out.
Take our last question from the back on our left.
Coach O, Ed Daniels, WGNO New Orleans. I wonder over the last few weeks or few months if you have reflected on when you were at Mandeville High School in your sabbatical, watching your son practice, and then all of a sudden you're here right now, kind of what that's...
Well, now that you mention it, I haven't. I've been focusing on the game plan and the monumental task we have on tomorrow night and giving everything to the football team. But you know what? It was a good time. I didn't get the job at USC. I realize now it was for a reason. It was to come home. I got to spend a whole year. I'd never seen my kids play. I went to every practice, every game, cooked a lot of food in the backyard, had a blast. And then I was very fortunate that Coach Miles hired me. I wanted to come back to Louisiana. I wanted to be at LSU. And Coach Miles hired me for that. I'm forever grateful.